Welcome to Talking Giants player profiles and projections. And today we have Kaden Smith, the guy I'm a believer of, 6'5", 252 pounds, 24 years old, was brought over to the Giants after the 49ers waived him in the beginning of the 2019 season after being a six-round pick. They wanted to sneak him on the practice squad, and Dave Gettleman said, oh, no. He said, I was trying to decide between this guy and Darius Slayton in the draft. You guys just gave me both. I just got 2 draft picks for the price of 1.
Whoa.
And in 2020, he had 18 catches, 112 yards on an 85% catch rate. After a rookie season of 31 catches, 268 yards, and 3 touchdowns on a 74% catch rate. Justin, I am the leader of the Kaden Smith train. I am a believer in Kaden Smith. I like him, and I think it's because I don't really ever expect Kaden Smith to be a top tight end in the league, but if he's my starting tight end, I'm 100% fine with it. Now, I know he's going to be behind Rudolph and Ingram. I'm not challenging that, but I like Kaden Smith more than most because I saw what happened in 2019, and it wasn't fake. It was not fake what happened in 2019.
Well, why don't you you're on a roll. Kaden Smith is your guy. You like him. I like you. Tell me what he did in 2019. Give me a reminder.
Well, in 6 games as a starter, he had 30 catches, 267 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's 5 catches and 44.5 yards per game. That's pretty decent, production for a tight end. Well, you know what? It was 5 more yards per game than Evan Ingram had in 2020, who was a focal point of the offense, who was the leading target getter for the New York Giants was Evan Ingram. But to be fair on that, Evan Ingram averaged 55 yards per game in 19 games with Pat Shurmur. So it's 11. Yeah, it's 10.5 yards less than Ingram with Pat Shurmur. And it was just the way he played. It fit Daniel Jones. He was that safety valve in the middle of the field, and he could also run the full route tree. Now, he's not going to be fast or burn anybody. He's got a good shuttle time, but his 40 time was very slow at the combine, a 4.92. But he runs the full route tree and makes tough catches in traffic, and he also made plays vertically. Like Green Bay, big, long, deep pass to Kaden Smith. Miami, big, long, deep pass to Kaden Smith. Washington has 2 touchdowns in that game. One was beating man coverage for a game winner. The Eagles game to finish the season had over 90 yards. So he did things vertically on the sideline. So, again, is he a mismatch? Absolutely not. But does he do a good job blocking and running the route tree and being a safety valve and catching tough passes? Absolutely. And it was as a rookie he did all that.
Now, I hate to burst your bubble, but this is not 2019. This is 2021.
Well, even 2020, they put him in flat routes. All right, you run flat.
Yeah, I mean, and that's basic. I mean, you can have any tight end kind of do that. And then they should have done more. I mean, they definitely should have done more. I think that they should have given him more snaps when Evan Ingram was getting ready to actually play in this year's Olympics for the USA volleyball team when he was putting balls up in the air for everybody to catch. So they should have given him more snaps. But we are in a world right now where on the 2021 Giants, he is number 3/number 4 on the depth chart. And, are the Giants going to carry 4 tight ends? And if they carry 3, then will he be the 3rd tight end? Now, it's going to come down to blocking.
As a regular tight end, which sucks.
It's going to come down to blocking, Bobby Skinner. And frankly, I'll give my little spiel on Kaden Smith before we ask a question about projecting for 2021. In 2020, in terms of him as a run blocker, I think Kaden Smith transformed the Giants' running game last year. When they started using him as a pseudo puller/lead blocker, there would be a hole that would open up and Kaden Smith would run right through it. There's the play is called what? And I always forget it. It's called something.
Wham.
Wham
and Power O.
Wham and Power O.
Where so Wham is when he would block the backside player out. Power O is when someone else would block the backside player out, and he would be the lead blocker to block a linebacker.
And it would be the play that would work the best. I think Dallas, the away Dallas game is when they kind of started to run it well. And, hey, that's a good time to start running a new play against a bad defense, and it really worked out well for him. That was a really good game the offense had. So wasn't until they started doing that where the Giants' rushing game really started to be revitalized, and it got some sort of life into it. And that was Kaden Smith doing it. And I really do think, in my opinion at least, and I'll ask you this next, Kane Smith is a better blocker than Levine Toilolo. You watch the offensive line every week, and I don't know how much you're watching tight ends, but you're watching it every single week. I think Caden Smith is more important than Levine Toilolo, and I want him as tight end 3.
So, we've talked about like in the offseason of like, is there anyone who could get cut that would really make you mad? I'm like, no, not really. Like O'Shane Ximines, I want to see him stick around, but I wouldn't be mad because of what they've added there. You know who would be? It'd be Caden Smith. If they cut Caden Smith for Levine Toilolo, I would be livid because it wouldn't make any sense. And and then when they signed Kyle Rudolph, a lot of people were like, well, Caden might be on the way out because they restructured Levine Toilolo's contract. That would make no sense. He played 50% of the snaps with Levine Toilolo on the roster. So if they value Levine Toilolo over Caden Smith, why didn't they play him over Caden Smith when they were on the same team? And with no worry of cutting a player. And like you mentioned, those lead blocking things. Levine Toilolo can't do that. Levine Toilolo can be an inline blocker, but he can't do that. And Caden Smith is a superior receiver. Levine Toilolo's only catches were just basic checkdowns where he would, rumble and tumble for an extra few yards with absolutely no like urgency underneath him. So if they cut Caden Smith and Levine Toilolo's on the roster, which I don't think is going to happen, so I'm doing a little like unnecessary outrage, I will be pissed off at that.
Levine Toilolo played 27% of snaps last year. You said Caden Smith played 50?
45%, but he missed a game because of COVID.
He played that many? That's kind of insane.
He played a ton. I mean, we ran the second most 3 tight end sets in the league to Cleveland.
13 personnel,
but he played a ton, Like he was a big part of the offense.
They just didn't throw the ball to him. And the crazy thing about the Giants,
it's not they didn't throw the ball to him. They just didn't run like downfield routes. He was basically like when they ran stick, he was the flat route. That was almost that was like I put together a compilation on Twitter. So if you look up @BobbySkinner _ Caden Smith and then click on videos, I literally put all his catches from 2020 in a clip, and it's almost all flat routes, which led to him being the yak king on the team. Most yak on the team with 5.1 yards after catch.
Yeah. I mean, in my book, you got to have 20 catches to qualify for a ranking of a stat if you're going to rank players. But guess what?
He missed the game, so if you divide it by 15 times 16, it's like
he had 18 catches. He missed a game. He would have had 2 more catches if he missed that game. Yeah. So all right, yeah, we both want him as tight end 3. He has a clear. Okay, so who's the better inline blocker then?
I guess you would give Toilolo the edge, but
you have Rudolph.
It's not noticeable. Yeah, Toilolo, I don't understand why they restructured and gave him guaranteed money. Now, when they initially did it, a lot of people were outraged because anything happens and people are outraged. And I was like, why are people mad about this? I was like, they have to have a third tight end, and they use this guy. I was like, why are people so mad? And then they signed Kyle Rudolph, and it's like, well, why did you do that? Now, why'd you do that? Because you don't need a fourth tight end. You could have one, but it's like, why are we restructuring, giving guaranteed money to a fourth tight end?
Yeah, at the time when the Toilolo restructure happened, we had no clue that the Giants were going to pursue tight end in free agency. They pursued Hunter Henry, which was wild. Now, I'm sure they weren't guaranteeing that they were going to get him because Hunter Henry was one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end on the free agent market. But yeah, they were openly pursuing tight end. And the fact that they did that, they restructured Toilolo before free agency, knowing that they were going to pick up some sort of tight end. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I think Caden Smith offers more, and Caden Smith for tight end 3. And then eventually he's younger. How many more years of control does he have left?
2.
That makes him more valuable than Levine Toilolo right there.
Keep Caden Smith on the roster, Joe Judge, or we're going to kick down your door, and you better not be cussing, like Kelvin Benjamin said. Kelvin Benjamin is getting jokes made about him on almost every PPP since we recorded it, which I guess technically we're doing it the day after, even though it's coming out later.
Yeah.
But Kelvin Benjamin's going to catch a lot of jokes this year.
We're now on Wednesday.
That's now – he's not a tight end, that bum. All right. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Until then, let's go Big Blue.